Now available for the first time in paperback. Why 70% of black women are single. Learn all the reasons why so many black women can't find a husband and why 70% of black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today.
Rapper Megan Thee Stallion, when she made her appearance on Saturday Night Live and performed her song Savage, revealed a poster in the back that stated Protect Black Women. And she also went on to make the statement talking about how black men needed protection. Now, when I take a critical examination of Megan Thee Stallion's statement, it shows me how she came from a single mother household in the welfare state, and how coming from that single mother household in the welfare state has shaped her dysfunctional frame of thinking. And the reason why I call her frame of thinking dysfunctional is she's sitting there thinking that black men need protection because only a person who grew up in the welfare state in a single mother household is going to think that protection for black men comes outside of the black community. Because anybody who grew up with a healthy understanding of family and has a relationship with the Most High Living God understands that the role of a man is being a leader. The role of a man is being an authority figure. The role of a man is being a provider. And most importantly, the role of a man is to be a protector of his family and a protector of his community. So a man's role is not to seek protection from others. No, a man's role is to provide protection for his family and his community. But when you have grown up in the welfare state and learned the culture of the welfare state, you sit around believing that your protection comes outside of your community and that you need to go out here and ask somebody to go out here and give you protection. So your Megan Thee Stallion is coming from a welfare state mindset, and she wants to declare like she's making some sort of social justice statement, but in actuality, she's just showing us all how completely ignorant she is as related to black men and protection. And in some ways, the mainstream media is using Megan Thee Stallion's ignorance to passive aggressively take a swipe at black men. Passively, when this sign talking about protect black women, they're talking as related to the case of Breonna Taylor, but aggressively, they're taking a shot at black men and saying that the black man is too weak to protect his black woman. Moreover, he's not even strong enough to protect himself. So the white supremacist is using your Megan Thee Stallion to passive aggressively take a shot at black men and send a message to black men that they are too weak to protect black women and they are too weak to even go out here and protect themselves. But this will fly over the heads of most of these black men and black women because when I looked at the comments in the YouTube section of Megan Thee Stallion's video appearance on Saturday Night Live, you had many black women praising Megan Thee Stallion, not understanding that this whole poster that she put up in the back talking about protect black women is actually a big insult to black men and is a real insult because here we have your Megan Thee Stallion talking about protect black women, and here's a woman who is getting involved with the enemies of the state and someone who is out here promoting WAP to people and participating in immoral behaviors and then talking about how she wants protection when she got shot in the foot by one of the enemies of the state of the black community. So this woman really does not understand what the role of a protector is, and she does not understand that protection is something that is conditional. She's sitting there because she's used to getting protection from the white police in the welfare state, and she thinks that, oh, I'm afforded and entitled this protection by the white police officers. But what she doesn't understand is the police officers are the second line of defense in a healthy community, the first line of defense in a community that provides protection for women are the men in that community. And when you have a collective of warrior class men in your community, you will be made safe by that warrior class of men in your community. Unfortunately, in many black communities, many black women of the boomer generation and even some of the Generation X generation, they subscribed to white feminism. They talked about how they were strong and independent and did not need a man. They decided to become dependent on the welfare state. They walked away from the protections of their men to join the welfare state, and they wanted the security of the welfare state instead of the security of their men. But what they didn't understand is the state only wants to protect the state's interest. The state is not interested in protecting the safety and the welfare of the women at all. The state only is interested in what benefits the state, and the state could care less about the black woman. So it has no interest in protecting the black woman. It has an interest in getting resources out of the black woman through the welfare state, which is allocated through federal block grants. So the black woman is sitting there thinking that she's getting protection, but they are only protecting their economic interests. So the black woman, this is why when she goes out here and runs off at the mouth and gets slapped in the face by the Korean hair store guy or the Arab store owner or the Indian store owner, this is why she has no real protection. And when she goes out here and then gets assaulted by one of these foreign store owners or one of these individuals, she's sitting there asking the question, why can't I get some protection from black men? Well, you can't get protection from black men for two reasons. One, because you pushed the real protectors out of the black community, the black man, by embracing and subscribing to white feminism. And two, you can't get protection because the males you raised on your own do not understand their role as men because they do not have a father in their lives to teach them male life skills, teach them the role of a man, or teach them how a man is supposed to function. Moreover, your black pastor, who was supposed to be preaching from the Word of God created by the Most High, he did not teach your boys anything about manhood. He did not teach them about being responsible stewards under God's natural order. He did not teach them anything about their roles as men. No, he did not teach anything when you brought him to church. No, all he talked about was prosperity and blessings, but they're not understanding that faith without works is dead, and you have to put in work if you want a healthy and thriving community where you can benefit from actual protection from black men that will keep you safe, not pseudo protection provided by white police officers, which keep the state safe and allow the state to benefit at your expense. So your Meghan Thee Stallion, she does not understand the concept of protection, but she goes on Saturday Night Live talking about protect black women and protect black men, not understanding that when she's out here, she's being used as a pawn to provide a passive aggressive way for your racists to go out here and take a jab at black men. And she's sitting there thinking she's done something wonderful and accomplished something by putting up this statement at the end of her song on Saturday Night Live. But many of these racists out here are sitting up here laughing at her because they understand what the concept of protection is all about. And because these men understand that protection is something that the man provides to his community by just his own presence, they look at Megan Thee Stallion and they laugh at her because she's sitting there talking about, oh, black men need protection. No, black men are protection. And black men, who like myself, we only provide protection for those who have earned protection and those who follow the standards that we establish for who gets protection. And as I stated in a previous video, the standard for protection are two things. One is respect for that black man, because that black man is going out of his way to give you protection because you are showing him that he has value in your life and that he's someone that you appreciate being in your life. That's one of the standards a man has for providing his protection to a woman. She has to show him respect for his presence and give him his respect when he is in her presence. She has to show him that she sees and appreciates him being there. And the second tenet she has to get in order to get protection is she has to submit to his authority. This woman, if she wants to get this man's protection, she has to submit to this man, defer to his authority, and acknowledge him as a leader. A man is not going to give you protection unless you show him respect and unless you go out and submit to him. And many black women, like your Megan Thee Stallion, they want to go out here and they want to talk about their WAP. They want to talk about how they are whores. They want to talk about how they are empowered. But they want to go out here and then ask black men to go out here and protect them. And I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. If you want to be the strong, independent black woman who don't need no man, then you don't get any protection from black men. And black men will not give you protection. What they will do when you talk about how you are the strong, independent black woman who has the WAP, they are going to leave you out there to have to get your protection from the person you wanted to get your protection from, the state. And when members of the state, like the police, don't give you protection, that's on you, because you wanted to side with the state. And when you side with the state and the state doesn't give you protection, that's because you submitted to their terms, and whatever happens to you, happens to you. So you can't go to the black man and say, I want protection from the state, when you went to the state and agreed to the state's terms. Moreover, you can't go to the black man and ask for protection when you get involved with enemies of the state, like your Megan Thee Stallion has gotten involved with. Your Megan Thee Stallion, when she got shot in the foot, was involved with an enemy of the state, which is the dope boy or the thug or the Pookies or the Ray Rays, or in some cases when you have some of these black women out here who are swirling, they're out here with this white man, this Hispanic man, this Asian man, or this Arab man. And if you are submitting to that man's leadership, then you are supposed to get your protection from him. And when he abuses you, you can't go over to that black man because under the standard of the Bible, the woman, when she gets involved with other men, she has to submit to their authority. So if she gets involved with one of these males out here and these males are jacking her up, then she has to go to those men. And any responsible man out here is going to say, my protection is for those sisters who want to respect me and those sisters who want to submit to me. So those sisters, they can come and receive protection. But women like Meghan the Stallion, who want to talk about their WAP and talk about how they're independent and how they don't need no man and want to promote negative narratives in the black community, you don't receive protection from black men. And the reason why you're not going to receive protection is because you wanted to get your protection from the American state of the welfare state. You wanted to get your protection from the white man. You wanted to get your protection from white police officers. You wanted your protection from non-black men. Now you have to go to those men for your protection because you had no problem submitting to those men on the job. You have no problem following the authority of those men on the job. But when those men abuse you, then you want to go to the black man. And again, we have no terms with this black woman who does this. The sisters who are submitting to the black man, we have terms with, but we have no terms with those black women. And they voided the warranty because they left the community. And when you leave the community and you divest from the community, you have to deal with the consequences of your actions. Again, it is just like when you buy one of these cell phones. When you have the cell phone intact and there's something happens to it and it's not your fault, you can send that back to the manufacturer to get a repair or replacement. But when you open up the back of this cell phone and open up the case, you are voiding the warranty. And when you void the warranty, the manufacturer does not have to give you a replacement or repair the unit. And when black women walked away from black men to join up with the white feminists, they voided the warranty for protection. So they can't ask for protection from black men because that warranty was voided, and that was voided by them walking away from the black community for the welfare state. So you want protection, you have to go back to that welfare state, or go back to that white man, or go back to that Pookie or that Ray Ray. And again, if these men are doing you wrong, then that is what you chose. And that's the consequence that your black woman doesn't, like Megan Thee Stallion, doesn't understand. They can make all of these raps talking about their sexuality and how empowering it is, but they don't understand the power structure between men and women that God has established. God has created an order for things to function, and when you go outside of that order, then you have to deal with the chaos in your life. And that's something your Megan Thee Stallion just does not get, is once you step outside of God's order and you have chaos in your life, that is a consequence of you going outside of his order. So when you want to talk about you're an empowered woman with a WAP and one of these guys gives you a smack, that's a consequence of your actions. And that's what happens to women when they go out here on their own. So in civilizations out here, most of them have a standard. And if the woman wants to go out here on her own, those men in those other civilizations leave her on her own. And when things happen to her, they make an example of that woman. And other women, when they see that example, understand not to follow in this female's footsteps, because they don't want to deal with the consequences of being on their own, and they don't want to wind up with no protection and being taken advantage of by predators. That's something Megan Thee Stallion, the empowered woman, doesn't understand. She doesn't understand how the predators in the white supremacist system are using her as a pawn, and she doesn't understand how the predators in the white supremacist system see her as a complete joke. Because when you sit there and talk about protect black men, you really don't understand the concept of society, you don't understand the concept of protection, and you don't understand that in a society, God created the man to be the woman's leader, her source, and her ultimate protector. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my men's issues books, like The Man Crisis and Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, which explain in depth the roles of both men and women and why so many males are dysfunctional today due to being raised in single mother households, you can pick up both of those books in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Given to temptation, pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today.